it's really kind of one of those ones that each sponsor has to make for themselves, because as a GP team, if there's multiple sponsors on a deal, I've had clients before that they've said, I won't entertain anything for less than like $500,000. But I've had other sponsors who have done like they've rolled it out and they've told the bank right up. I have 5 or 6 people. I have a waiting list of 1031 parties that are just willing to do this. And they call up the 1031 party. They say, are you in? They say no. Then they move on to the next part. They move on to the next party. So it really depends. Like I said, I've got clients that say you have to have more than 3 million for me to allow you to participate. And then I have other clients that say no, 100,000 is fine, 150,000. I suppose if the acquisition price was small enough or the raise was less than $1 million, maybe even something smaller than $100,000 might be attractive to a sponsor. Because you think about it, if the minimum investment for most multifamily deals is somewhere between $50,000 plus, you're looking at maybe 10 investors, 20 investors that you're looking for just for that minimum investment. So if you can find one of those slots early and fast with somebody, a 1031 party, I can see that being attractive to to some sponsors. Other sponsors, like Lane said, it does suck up bandwidth. It sucks up some time. It does increase the costs of the transaction, both at the lending side as well as the professional fee side. But in many cases, it makes up for itself because of the accelerated raise component of it. Because you've got that amount of money that you can really count on. And remember, the 1031 party has special pressure on them that your retail investor does not have. They have to deploy that capital. The retail investor could say, I'm not interested in giving you $50,000 that's sitting in my IRA or my EQRP or even my bank account. But in many ways, the 1031 party can never touch that money. So if they want to not pay any taxes at all, it's almost kind of like monopoly money to a certain extent, because they can't take possession of it ever. So they have to deploy that capital. So in many ways, that's low-hanging fruit, in my opinion, for sponsors and syndicators out of there, because the 1031 party has those unique pressure, both time and pressure to deploy and reinvest that capital that the retail investor doesn't have.
Can you make sure that we know what the time frame is on that, Dugan? It's 45 days, but go ahead and tell us exactly what that looks like.
Yeah, so this, your timeline is very rigid. So if you're looking to do a 1031, whether it's a forward exchange or whether you're going to do a reverse exchange with an EAT, you're going to have to fulfill this time frame. So day one is when you sell. That's the day that you basically sold your property. You've sold the property that we call the relinquished property. That's not the time to call Nathan. Okay, you need to call Nathan before you sell. Because if you're calling Nathan at the closing table, the likelihood is the title company is going to wire you the money, and then you're going to call Nathan. That's too late. You've already taken possession of those proceeds. You need to call Nathan before day one, long enough to develop that relationship so that you can enter into an agreement with the qualified intermediary company. These are specialized individuals, people and entities that have specialized training and expertise in an effort to take possession of that money so that it can be redeployed and reinvested tax-free. Day one starts the timing, though. You have 45 days to designate potential replacement properties. And then you have to actually close on that replacement property within 180 days from day one. So the full time frame for the sponsor and the 1031 party to essentially court and marry is in that 180-day time frame. So you can see, if you're a sponsor and an operator, you're dealing with everything else from due diligence and third parties and loan application and title and survey. Now I got problems over here and I'm trying to raise over here. And so, you know, there's a lot of pressures in a very compressed time frame, particularly in most of these acquisitions are somewhere between 60 days from signing the PSA, maybe 90 days if you have an extension right built into the PSA. But so you have to marry in both the time frame as well as that cash and negotiating it and papering it up. But that time frame, they both have to kind of match up, because the IRS does not, they won't give you any give backs. So if there's 180 days and you miss it by 1 minute, by 1 millisecond, you're going to pay taxes on it.